Well, the honourable member for Petrie.
Well, thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Mr Deputy Speaker, I rise today to talk on this MPI. And we know that this budget is about a number of things, one of which is about tackling Labor's debt and deficit problem that they have left Australians. Tackling Labor's debt and deficit problem. It is about ensuring that welfare in this country is sustainable for the long term, well into the future, and of course it's about building the infrastructure of the 21st century. Infrastructure that will create jobs, infrastructure that will get businesses moving throughout this country. And I must say that in my electorate of Petrie, there's been a lot of investment in infrastructure, $108 million in this year's budget alone for the Moreton Bay Rail Link, which has got hundreds of people employed on it right now, which had, and I must say, we've got the Bruce Highway being upgraded. Every intersection between Pine Rivers and the members for Fisher's electorate is being upgraded. We've got the Gateway Motorway being upgraded as well, which is more fantastic news. Well done, and the Labor Party says that we're not listening. Well, I must say that every member here, every coalition member here, is out listening on a regular basis. Wouldn't you agree? We're out listening at the coffee shops. We're out in the pubs listening to local people there. We're down at the schools, at the local community groups over the last 5 weeks throughout our electorate, at the sporting clubs. We've been out doing mobile offices, doing listening posts throughout our electorate. And of course, one of the great things that we all get to do on both sides of the chamber is to go to local citizenship ceremonies and to see the many people that want to become citizens in this country, to welcome them into this country. One of the great things that we get to do as members is to read the Minister for Immigration and the Minister for Border Protection. What he does is he talks about that the Australian story is one of courage, mateship, endurance and sacrifice. This is the legacy that our predecessors have left us. And I say today, what has the Labor Party left us? What has the Labor Party left us? Well, they've left us record debt and deficit. And I say that every person that works in Australia, to the members of the gallery up here, to the clerks here, to the attendants, to the lady doing Hansard, to the MPs here that are paying income tax. We all pay income tax every single year. To the Australian companies that pay company tax. Well, what happens? Ladies and gentlemen, what happens, Mr Deputy Speaker, is that the first $1 billion that we receive every month through income tax and company tax goes out the back door to pay Labor's debt and deficit disaster, to pay foreign banks in Europe the interest that Labor left this nation. And who have we heard from? We've heard from the opposition leader, the member for McMahon and Lingiari and Wakefield, all members of the previous two Labor governments that blew a $50 billion surplus that was left by the Howard government into billions of interest every month. And the children up in the gallery today who will one day be paying income tax. Labor has left you income $1 billion a month in interest repayments, so one day when you work, you'll have to repay that as well. But no, this government is tackling that on your behalf. And we know that the members opposite, the three in the front row, are all members of the Rudd government and then the Gillard government. And we know, what did the previous Rudd government say? He said, I'm an economic conservative. He says, I'm another John Howard. Well, he didn't even last 3 years. They didn't even trust him to lead him in one single term. And I don't know who was responsible for that in the front row, but it was an absolute disgrace. He was no John Howard. 6 record deficits that we're now paying for. And not one person, not one Labor member has got up to talk about budget savings, because we know that one day when the Labor Party get back into government and they're responsible for the $400 billion a year that we spend, that you will continue to run deficits. You will continue to leave the children of this nation with huge interest bills. And you know what? We'd be happy if all you could do is spend less than what you earn. Is that too much to ask? one day when you're back in office, spend less than what you earn.